France 3, Brazil 0, Stade de France. This final has a mystery that no one has ever properly explained. A few hours before the game, Brazil's starting lineup was announced, and Ronaldo wasn't on it. 30 minutes later, in his hotel room, he went to the hospital, had tests done, came back and played. But he wasn't the usual Ronaldo. He was there, but he wasn't really there. On the other side, a bald Frenchman named Zinedine Zidane decided that night would be his. He scored 2 headers in the first half. He, who almost never headed the ball. Petit sealed the victory. 3-0. Why did France win in 1998? Because they had a brilliant midfielder in top form, were playing at home, and faced an opponent who clearly wasn't at 100%. The Zidane-Henry Vieira Petit Desailly generation was crowned champion there. Even today, when someone asks what happened to Ronaldo that day, the official answer is, nobody really knows. France 4, Croatia 2. Moscow, a thrilling finale. 6 goals, rain at the end, trophy raised in the mud. Croatia arrived at the final as the absolute underdog, a country of 4 million inhabitants that had survived 3 consecutive extra times. The guys were exhausted, but they started the game well. Then came an own goal by Mandzukic. Perisic equalized. A controversial penalty was awarded by VAR, one of the first major VAR decisions in a World Cup. And Mbappe, at 19 years old, became the second teenager to score in a World Cup final. The first had been Pelé in 1958. Why did France win in 2018? Because of speed and efficiency. They weren't the most beautiful team in the tournament, but they were the most lethal on the counterattack. And they faced a tired opponent who had expended a lot of energy along the way. Argentina 3, Netherlands 1. Extra time, Buenos Aires. This final has a complicated backdrop. Argentina was living under a military dictatorship, and using a World Cup for political propaganda was frowned upon, even back then. And the Dutch didn't have Cruyff. He simply refused to play in the World Cup. The explanation only came years later. There had been an attempted kidnapping against his family, and he stayed home to protect his children. Without the star player, the Netherlands was a different team. The final began with Argentina deliberately delaying the game, complaining about a Dutch player's arm bandage, a tactic to destabilize the opposition. When it finally started, confetti fell from the sky constantly, hindering the opposing goalkeeper. Mario Kempes scored 2 goals. Bertoni sealed the victory. Why did Argentina win in 1978? Because of the classic combination, home advantage with a strong crowd against a weakened opponent. Was it a legitimate title? Yes. But there were many off-field factors influencing what happened on the field. West Germany 1, Argentina 0. Rome. Argentina arrived at the final with a very different team than in '86. 4 players were suspended. Maradona was worn out with physical problems. The team had decided on a strategy of only defending, hoping to go to penalties. They created almost nothing throughout the entire tournament. Against Germany, it was worse. Argentina had 1 shot on goal the entire game. They received 2 red cards, the first time in history that this has happened in a final. With 5 minutes remaining, a controversial penalty was awarded to Germany. Bremer converted. Maradona cried at the final whistle. Why did Germany win in 1990? Because they faced a completely dilapidated opponent with tactical patience and discipline. But the truth is that this final wasn't won through brilliant merit. It was won because Argentina basically threw the game. Considered by many to be the ugliest, most cynical, most soulless final in World Cup history. It worked for Germany, but not for those watching. Italy 2, Czechoslovakia 1. Extra time, Rome. That final casts a shadow that Italy still carries to this day. Italy in 1934 was ruled by Benito Mussolini, and he very much wanted the World Cup in Italy to serve as propaganda for the regime. History tells us that Mussolini dined with the Swedish referee the night before the final. During the tournament, several refereeing decisions were, shall we say, generous to the Italians. Leaving aside the controversy, the team was strong. They had a coach named Vittorio Pozzo, who invented a new tactical scheme, the method, which worked very well. They had the Oriundi, players of Italian origin who came from South America and were naturalized, an early version of what would become the globalization of football. Czechoslovakia opened the scoring. Italy equalized at the end of regulation time and won in extra time. Why did Italy win in 1934? Due to technical merit, but also aided by a heavy political context, both on and off the field. It's a title that remains on the record, but casts a shadow over its place in history.